It is going live, going live. Yes, we are. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Talk It Out with D&D. It's your girl, Denise Murray. And of course, I got my co-host, Miss D, all day with me, Denise Day. Tonight, we're diving into one of those biggest headlines in entertainment, y'all. Teyana Taylor and Iman Shumpert, I think that's how you say his name, finalized divorce. This ain't just about love laws, y'all. It's about court orders, confidentiality, accusations, and even a $70,000 legal fee. So grab your tea, lean in close, because tonight we're breaking down all the messy details and talking about what we can learn from him when it comes up to relationship boundaries and protecting your peace. So let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk about it. What's up, y'all? Love and laughter from Las Vegas, because I'm sure this is gonna get heated.
Yes, this is like, because I mean, first of all, let's talk about how the divorce was filed. Teyana filed in 2023, but it got finalized in 2024, right? So I want to just kind of let the people, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I just want people to kind of be able to see the clipping of what was said. And I'm going to go ahead and share it for y'all. 1 second. So I want y'all to see it before we start talking about it.
Because this been messy. I thought it was getting cleared up, and now it's messy again.
Okay, y'all, here we go.
Outside of music is very quiet. You keep to yourself. But in the last couple of years, your life has been out there. Now this album is your life. How difficult was that? Doing that part, sharing your life with the world.
Y'all know how difficult it was for me because, I am a quiet person. And I'm private. Just because I've had shows and stuff like that, I mean, I'm not a private person. I share what I want to share. I've been up here a few times where, I was already dealing with what I was dealing with and nobody ever even knew. You know what I'm saying?
Now, so last time you held it down because you held it through all that. It came out like a week after, and you held it down.
You know what I'm saying? I held it down, and people get tired. People get tired, especially when like others are banking on your heart. When they know your heart and they know the things that push you to, they're gonna keep poking at that. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you bite the beat, and it is. You know what I'm saying?
How is dealing with it?
It's tough. You know what I'm saying? It's very tough. I to, just be as cordial as possible.
Now I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there, because the reason why I want to pause it right there is because I want y'all to know, like, when it comes to, let's just say, what one of the question that he just asked was, how did it affect those kids? And so when you're having these different relationship type of situations and things are coming up, that is very, like, that's more important to me, is how these kids get affected. And sometimes people want to put people on blast when it comes to, whatever they got going on, whether it's something as simple as, oh, this person ain't paid me no money, or this person didn't come and pick up the kids, or this person didn't do what they were supposed to do, or this, I'm going through this drama. I tend to feel like that is private. You know what I mean? Like, you can go through stuff. People go through relationships. No relationship is perfect. However, yes, there are some messy things that can happen, but I just don't feel like airing all this stuff out in public. Now, when you're dealing with them, of course, they're in the public eye, but the only reason why some of that stuff came public was because of the husband making things public. Because like she said, she was private when it came to dealing with that type of stuff. So what do you think about that? And what is people like, y'all tell me in the chat, how do y'all feel about that? Do you feel like it's okay to be putting, like, when you're going through stuff, do you feel like the world needs to know about your drama in your relationship?
Well, me personally, I think what people need to think about, especially especially celebrities, is that everything that's coming out of your mouth onto this internet, it is going to be there forever. And your children are not going to be children, and they're not going to be babies forever. And even as I think about this, they little girl, Junie is getting to be a young lady now, right? I remember her from when she was a baby, but now she's growing up. And then they have the other daughter. But they need that father, Iman Shumpert, needs to check himself, because already his history is out there on the internet, and it ain't that good. When he started blabbing it, when Teyana was also talking about their personal life, that's out there forever. This is when they were still in a cool place, right? But now that it's gotten contentious, now that it's gotten ugly and the gloves are off, and she's picking her pieces up and moving on, now he wants to act like a schoolgirl, right? And start trying to be like, he's gonna let the cat out the bag, and I'm gonna talk about this. But what she probably was about to say, I know that clip started glitching a little bit, was that when she was holding down the piece, she wasn't saying anything about how he had left them abandoned in a half-finished house. You know, different stuff doing. When people was coming at her asking questions, she was trying to hide it. No, it ain't that. It ain't that. She was still defending him when they was in the midst of the fight. But to answer the question, I think you ought not put your business on Michelle Obama's internet. Because and as these children grow older, they gonna understand that you didn't want to pay mama this amount of money. Well, I know we'll get into all of that. You want to eat Uber Eats and you didn't want to finish the house. Everything under the sun is on the internet, and you can't just scrub it like that unless you are a high-ranking elitist. The elite folks can take their family business and their family drama, and they can scrub it from the internet. They can take it and move it like it ain't never happened, but it don't usually happen to us. Your stuff be out there to your kids in college, and everybody gonna still be talking about it. So I don't think you ought to start putting your dirty, especially your dirty, filthy personal laundry on the streets of the internet. Just my opinion.
Right.
And if you do,
and we have Alexander Day in the building. Alexander Day, he said that this should not be public. Think of the children. He is just being petty Betty.
Okay, stop it, petty Betty. Because okay, we got. I'm gonna park the car right there. That's a good point, King Day. That's a good point. Because he's not thinking about the children. They got friends. They got to face this stuff down. It's not good. It's not good. And I think one of the children already had to be in court to testify. Junie did.
Oh wow. Right. Now I'm gonna go on, because there was also talks of him now about the $70K for the contempt, the ruling that they was talking about. And from what they were saying, from what she was saying, was that, and let me go ahead and play that part as well, about how she was saying that he did a skit supposedly online before all this stuff happened. However, when he did the skit basically trying to make it look like she's taking all his money in the skit, but he never said anything. He had somebody else doing the skit with him and taking his car. And then, like, when they took the car, and then he tried, oh, she's taking the house, the car, to this, to that, and trying to make it like she's taking everything from him. But he never once said anything. He was just like, oh, you know, made it like a little suggestion. But then when she came back after that and said something, that is why she's saying like that he's coming at her, because that was a breach. Hold on, I'm gonna play that part for y'all too. Let me let y'all hear that.
God. Oh,
it was just too messy. This way too messy.
Like a Girl Scout. Just give him a little dress and a scarf.
Exactly. Okay, so y'all listen.
Kids come first, and that's been the main reason why I've wanted to keep everything private, no matter how ugly or how sweet. Keep it private.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my job is to protect them no matter what. And I think that's where, like, I keep, you know, just trying to hold on and hold it down. But I think this album was a beautiful way to express myself.
Mhm.
And yeah, just move forward.
Just like you've had a lot of wars. It was a lot of
Yeah.
press surrounding you. And I've seen you on this outlet,
Mhm.
that outlet, right? And it just seems like it's a pattern, right? Every time something drops with Teyana is in the headlines. So, oh, this movie, that movie, right? It seems that it's always something that is dropped on Iman's side, right? Where it's like, oh, but this happened. And it's something about a court or something about the divorce, right? Almost every single time one of your accolades
Every
is mentioned,
single time,
you're being
and
celebrated for something.
but that,
I'm gonna go ahead and pause it there now. So now we talking about that part. There is one of the things that I also want to talk about when it comes to, before we even get to the money part, this part here where she says every time something good happens, that's when something else pop up. So let's talk about that. Like being in a situation, as soon as the person see you doing well, or let's just say you moved on and they feel like, oh shucks, she done upgraded, she done got something better, and she doing way better. She not sitting around thinking about me no more. So now I need to throw some salt in the game. So let's talk about that. Like, what's up with that? Why do you have to put, when you see the person is happy, living their life, doing their thing, why you gotta come in and play?
Come on. And see, that's the whole point of the matter, because Iman was the one allegedly in the streets cheating, continually cheating, disrespecting his wife and his children. Because I don't believe in you gonna be in the streets with your dirty peen and then coming back to the house. That's not what we're gonna do. Right. So when you get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and she got tired of being disrespected, picked herself up, same way like we talked about Halle Berry that year. I mean, last go round, when she got out that garage and cut that car off and said, and felt her angel say, my life is worth living. I'm gonna get up out of this in the fetal position, and I'm gonna take, well, Teyana's taking her children and moving forward. Done found her some happiness. Got that little butterscotch piece of man, honey, articulate, can act. He got a job. He ain't just sitting on other people's podcasts smoking cannabis and crossed eyes and high and eating Uber Eats. See, this man got a future and an expected end. Okay. He said, I'm here to serve you. So see, homeboy is mad. Okay, let me calm down. Homeboy is mad because this man is talking about serving her and her children and doing some positive stuff. They all
say that word one more time. Can you just shout, because that word is powerful right now? What did you say? He was doing what now?
Oh, serving. He was serving
the
her.
Word. The word. Service. That word right
there. Service, honey. That ain't nothing to shake a stick at. That's some God sent stuff right there. And God, remember we said God will give you the desires of your heart. You just got to talk to him and articulate what you desire and what you need. And when she said, just leave me in peace. See, this demon can't even leave her alone, but you're the one that wanted to be in the streets. So hit the streets, keep eating your Uber Eats, and take your strippers and move on. But he can't stand it because you can just see the joy on her. She just glowing. And when they was just sitting there holding hands, when it was all speculation, their business was still on the down low until she came out and threw him the party, or he gave her the roses. But now they in the public streets, they at the award ceremony, they look good. Leave them alone. Even the children like him. So see, he mad about that. But don't get mad, my guy. You gave up your family, so move on. But that's what jealousy and insecurity looks like. That as soon as you start doing something, I'm going to pick up a brick and a rock and I'm going to bust a window out. I'm just going to throw a brick through your window, but you better be careful because sometimes people can shoot back. You better stay away from around people because you up to this foolishness, but everybody's not going to play with you like that. But that's a sign of an insecure man. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but he looked like a disheveled Girl Scout to me right now that don't have no more cookies. You just out of cookies, you ain't got nothing, and you trying to take her money. Yeah, you just full of it. And I ain't even got to say allegedly, because every time I see him, he got a joint in his mouth. He's confused, but you didn't want your family. Now move on. because you cannot continue to do that. And I know in times when you're going through divorce, witness, you be concerned about how the other person's going to react. That's why no scrapping, no fighting. Take what you need and get going. I'm not going to fight with you. That's why people are to keep the stuff off Facebook. Don't go on the Instagram, and you ain't got to do all that. You just handle yours. But if it gets dangerous, if it gets harassing, that's where they have the authorities. But I think he a little girl. He acted like a little girl. And the money that she got, the house that she got, Teyana wasn't broke when she met him. He may have made more while he was in the NBA, but she didn't never show up to the table with an empty plate. She had been choreographing and dancing. Her music, they jammed her up. Pharrell did on the music. I heard about how he did her, but still, she didn't show up as no brokey. But no, you got 2 kids. You need to pay for your kids. He didn't even want to pay for the unfinished house. He wasn't doing his husbandly duties. He was coming up short. Now you want to be a shortbread chicken. Right. You want to cry like a little girl. But I'm rooting
and that's
for
another
her.
thing when you have, and that's another thing as well when you talk about not just stepping up, but having someone that is that has theirs, that have their own, and y'all are and you can be equally yoked. And then that's when the problem comes in, where it's like you lost a good one and now you regret it because now you thought the grass was greener. So you went outside thinking the grass was greener and you realize you lost a good one. And so now you want to throw rinky, little things in that's not good. But one thing that you said, and the reason why I said serve, is because it takes me back to an episode of The Cosby. And you remember when Elvin was there and he was in the house and he was talking to Claire, Felicia Rashad, Claire Huxtable at the time, and he was like, "Oh, you're gonna serve your man?" And she was like, "Yes, I'm gonna serve him like he served me a cup of coffee." And you know what I mean? It's like, because he had that mindset of not understanding, and back to what we talked about before, where people be like that the roles, it's not about what role you are when it comes to your relationship. Is like, okay, you both, and like they were both being able to bring something to the table. And when you have that, where you and your partner can bring it to the table, y'all both are doing your thing, you don't want to mess that up. So think about those things when y'all going into these things.
Come on, and be blessed about it.
So what do you think about?
Oh no, go ahead.
Right. And with Alexander Day, he says, what he said? He said this needed to happen so that he learns and she gets her Boaz. I remember that scene. That's the truth.
And that's the truth, because he was a bozo. He was a bozo the clown, and now her Boaz has shown up. We're an example of that, where I had a bozo and then Boaz showed up. And I am blessed every day of my life. I continually say it publicly, not to brag or to boast, but to say you ask God for your desires, honey, and God will show up and show out. I got a husband that'll fix me some coffee. Girl just made me a quesadilla and a beautiful bean salad before I got on this live. And that's when you're talking about service. And when you want to be vice versa, when I attempt to do my best to be of service to him, but a lot of times he's like, I got it. But he knows that I would do that for him as well. But that's where you got to be able and to understand that sometimes jumping, like you say, you nailed that. You was the hammer on that nail. You jump that fence and jump over into that grass, honey. It might be some poo-poo in the grass. And now you got poop all on your shoes. Now you're trying to climb back over. But don't nobody want you with your poopy shoes. You stay on over there where you was. Stay out there in the streets. But leave it alone. Leave people alone when they've moved on and they're doing better, because you never know. Maybe you get your life together, you can do better as well. Well, I applaud them. They look like the power couple. I pray that they make it and move forward and continue to grow as long as it's serving both of them. Because I see them doing some projects and some movies together, honey. Because that's the bottom line. And lying and playing games and getting somebody else to do a skit. No. You put it all out there at first, the way she was covering him, and then for him to turn around and do this. But I'm sure, honey, $70K ain't nothing but a little tinkle in the bucket. And I almost said the word.
Let me click, and I'm gonna show them this. Hold on, let me show them about that part.
He's a monk. Oh, okay.
So I was just like, that because it's like, it's one-sided, and that's one of the things that I don't like when it comes to things, when things become one-sided. So I'm gonna share that as well. Hold on, let me share it so y'all can see.
Yeah, there was a couple areas where she messed around too, that she gonna have to live down in front of her kids too.
Even $70,000 thing, wasn't held in contempt for what I did. So them saying the whole Iman had direct evidence, the only evidence was me going live. You feel what I'm saying? If we really keep it to being, they were very technical. And this part is not, this last court date, it was not sealed. But let's look at the pattern. We went to court July 25th. This thing about me paying him $70,000 or his lawyer $70,000 came out a week before my album dropped. This is when Hard Part came out with Joe and Jada, and the song was going viral, and everybody was like, yo, this song is fire. Now, 5 minutes later, Teyana is ordered, she's held in contempt, So now it's looking like, oh, so she went on live and lied. And it's like, no, it was technicality. Keep in mind, I only went on live to defend a skit that he did.
Yeah.
So you did a skit, but then they pretty much said in court, the skit was back in June. The skit, it was a few weeks after the divorce. So then it was kind of like his lawyers argued that, well, the person in the video said it. First of all, his lawyer didn't even want to admit that the person in the video stated an amount of money that was being paid, right? But then once he got caught up in that and Iman admitted that the person did say that, then he was like, well, it didn't come from Iman's mouth directly. So your evidence pretty much is objected. And then I had a witness who came with actual receipts that they were being paid to have a smear campaign against me.
Damn.
Wow.
You feel me?
Can you even talk about this now?
This is not sealed. Oh, this is not sealed.
Oh.
The only thing I got in trouble for was when we went into details about
what you get.
And stuff like that. You feel what I'm saying? However, again, what I stand on, and y'all already know, I do have a strong male fan base as well. You know what I'm saying? And there was a lot of men that were really hurt thinking that I did this to another black man. I'm not rolling with that, which I had a majority of people that's like, yeah, she deserved it. Get your coin, sis. And it's like, I could have just rolled that wave, but I'm not okay with that because that's not the kind of woman that I am.
So now y'all see what I was saying about when it comes to the money portion. And then it's like sometimes you have those situations where those technicalities with court, when you're going through those different technicalities. Well, this person didn't physically say something out of their mouth, like he had somebody else say it, so he wouldn't show that he physically said it. So that's how she have to pay him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, he in the video doing a skit, but it's like the person in the video was the one doing all the talking. So he paid the person to do all the talking, to say everything that he wanted him to say. But then she got in the rift because she just was mad about what was being said because it wasn't true. But because he didn't physically say it out of his own mouth and had somebody else to do it, that's how she ended up paying. Now that to me is jacked up. Like I'm just like, I would have been so hot if that happened. Like it's crazy.
That is so scandalous. And
so
I think
it's just a mess.
They in California too, aren't they? Because even still, like I say, we always come back. I always come back to you better have a working person.
Georgia.
Oh, they're in Georgia. They're in Atlanta area. Okay. Because even if because even back when she was really was under pressure when they were breaking up to try to get him to just pay what he was supposed to pay and keep her and the two children secured, he's out eating $80,000 worth of Uber Eats. In was it a month or a couple of weeks? A month. 80. How much damn food are you eating that you can pay 80,000 to the Uber Eat people? Because I guess you're too high to drive, so they got to bring the food to you. But then you're not taking care of your kids eating. But nevertheless, she owned that, and like I said, I think 70,000 ain't gonna make or break her. But I think that it is hypocrisy. And not only did she say he in the skit with the person, but he paid some other people to have a smear campaign. How radical are you that you'll pay somebody to smear the mother of your children?
Right.
You're not built. You're not wired right. But that's what happens sometimes. We don't know what else he on. We don't know. He could be allegedly on anything. But that is so irresponsible to me. And then to let
Now
that be in the
start
world.
right there though. Let's stop there though. When you said something that is really deep and take it away from them, let's talk about in general with anybody. When you leave in that relationship, why is it that you have to smear that other person when you leave it? Because you have that happen sometimes when you're finished with the relationship. Like you'll hear, and then sometimes people would change their whole feelings towards people, where you might have the, oh, all men are bad, or oh, women ain't no good, and then or be, oh, my wife did, my girlfriend did, you know what I mean? Oh, she wasn't this or she wasn't that, and she did this and she did that. But it's like you're doing all this, and a lot of times when people do that, sometimes what happens is they'll bump into somebody else that's new, and that new person is listening to this, and sometimes people use that as bait to get another person. Like you may have, let's just use as an example, as a man. Sometimes you may have a man that may go out, he may meet a woman, he telling this woman, oh, this woman ain't no good, this woman did this woman did that, and then the next thing you know, she's like, well, oh, I ain't never going to do nothing like that. I'm going to be this and I'm going to be, trying to make, that's how, or the girl, she could be doing that to a guy. And the guy can then start doing the things right away. And I remember Steve Harvey on his show one time, he had made a comment and he said, when you going on dates, stop telling a man what you want. He said, because all they're going to do is basically take everything that you said, and he's going to do all those things right away to pull you in. But he's not going to keep doing those things, but you just told him everything to do. So you got to really basically ask them serious questions. But a lot of times that's what happened. And that's how you start ending up with people that are no good for you, because you didn't have no wrong conversations.
Oh, that's good. That's good. And not to just have it be a trauma bond. But here's one of the things that I'm going to be transparent about this with me in my life, because I just realized this and found this out. Because like I said, I came out of a traumatic marriage, and then now I've been married going on 7 years coming up soon. But what I was tending to do, and this is where I'm going to bring some closure to this for me, for my personal stuff, because I was in a traumatic marriage for 8 years. 30 days in, I knew it wasn't good for me, but I was in it for 8 years. So then when I come out, I get with God, I recognize the faults, the flaws, all of that. God gave me the king. The king came, right? And then now, whereas I'm in this position that I want to speak up and help other women, younger women, because I'm 62. I done lived some life. I've been married 2 other times. This is the 3rd time was the charm, where I want to share the story and help other women. But at the same time, it can't just keep being trauma. I don't want it to come off like trauma. And my husband always says, well, you had to go through that to get to here. And that's true. But at the same time, I heard somebody say that when you're telling your story, because I want to be able to stand in my truth and show how I got through it and came to the other side, but don't just stand in it or look to just want to rip somebody's heart or head off. You can tell your story, stand in that, talk about the power of coming out of it, and then really let it go. But I realized that for other people probably listening to me, it probably feels like I'm still stuck in the trauma, because I can be so passionate about it, because I just want other people to avoid the pitfalls of inviting people to your table with no food on the plate, sticking in something just because you're in church. You don't want to be divorced. But I feel like before the end of this year, I'm going to really use my channel with Ms. Day, some real talk, and talk about it, wrap it up, get it on film, because this is my story. I'm not trying to kill nobody, but wrap it up and then leave it right there. I wouldn't have to address it again, so that it doesn't keep sounding trauma-based. Because I tell you, when I came out, God was guiding me, got me out the money clip. I didn't get clipped for the money. I had the king. Even matter of fact, both of them had met, but I wasn't going to fight you for no property, no products. I took a L with the finances, and I got out because I wasn't going to fight you for anything, because I just need to be free, and I knew I wasn't going to die in it. But I can share that story and let it go. And so that's things I think about when I think about letting go. That's the only way the next best thing can come for you. You got to let go of what's not serving you.
Right.
Because if you're still hanging on to that monkey on that vine, you ain't gonna never get what you need or desire. You don't need nothing, whatever your desire is. The Bible said, give you the desires of your heart. But if you still clenching and hanging on and fighting over stuff and fighting over the children, oh God, I would hate to see the kids caught up. But we didn't have children, but just stuff. I said, take what you need, get it and get out of here. And it just worked out so much better. But I just really recently came to that understanding that's how I'm gonna wrap that up. Yeah.
Right. That's good. And I say it's really good that you're doing that. And people need to really stay tuned into that, because I realized, and it was crazy because I didn't realize it until I had a conversation with my brother. And my brother actually told me, like, he was like, I used to watch some of the stuff that you would post. And it wasn't that I was like saying anything about my ex or anything, but he was like say when Father's Day come up, and I'm like, happy Father's Day to the single mothers and stuff like that. And he was like, when you're doing stuff like that, he put that to my head. He was like, that's making you still look like you know, going through it. And he was like, you were just still angry. He was like, I can tell how some posts, like, even though it wasn't anything direct to anything, but he was like, just by certain things, he was like, you were still, like, you can tell I was still feeling some type of way. But it was like, okay, I know then I've realized now is like, I see where I was before, and it's like now that's not even a conversation for me now. But before I was just so angry, and I think it was making, and what he said, the word bitter. That's what he said. It was like a bitter. And a lot of times as women, we tend to come off very bitter when we're doing things like this, and we don't see that until somebody kind of pull our coattail, like, and say something like, hey, you need to watch that. You look like, you know what I mean? You might have went through some things, but you need to fight through those things, get over it. You know, sometimes it's harder, you know, to get over things, but there's counseling, there's people you can talk to, and then get yourself around the right type of people. Because also what can happen in situations is sometimes your situation may not be that bad, but the people that you're around may make it bad. And that's going to be a conversation that we're going to talk about next week off of another video that I talked about, that I watched, because you have to watch your circle when it comes to relationships, because not everybody want to see you happy. They want, as soon as you come to them with a conversation, and it might be bad, but you just want to vent about what's going on, the first thing they want to tell you to do is leave that person alone. And sometimes that's not always the way to go. But me personally, and I'm just going to say it, me, I ain't trying to tell everybody to be this way, but I just feel like when it comes to a relationship, you come in with this. If you came in with $5, you need to leave with that $5. Like, I feel like whatever you came in with, you leave with what you came in with. I don't feel like I need to be giving you nothing. I don't feel like you need to be giving me nothing, and that's why it's always good to have your own. That's just my opinion. Now, everybody I know might not agree with it, but I just feel like, yes, you can build some things together that you might have to split. And that's what you do. You split 50-50. Right. However, the things that was mine when I came in, it's still mine.
Don't get it twisted. This is mine. You ain't lying, girl. You better protect yourself. But that is so true. Right. And then sometimes, but that's a good thing too, because sometimes we can throw subliminal headshots. You know, they could be in the form of posts and stories, but they can be subliminal. But girl, they be hitting to the core, right, especially if they stalking you and watching you. But we know we can do them shots, but you don't have to. But that's what I realized. And in that area of my divorce, as well as the fallout with my other sibling, I'm gonna put a final cap on the story with Chucky in the situation, so that I can be peaceful about just release it, because we had a communication. We had a family member that passed, and I know after I reached out to her, she hit me back, let me know that. But I want to just have that final chapter about that, and that'll be a part of my archive, because there's so many people that are go through family drama, so many people that are carrying pain from the relationships, but we need to let it go so we can be lighter and we can be those eagles that God's called us to be. Because I'll be damned.
Right.
I know I'm not a chicken, but I'm not gonna be pecking around at pecking at poop.
Right. No. That's facts. And it's sad that, you know, a lot of times that we have to go through those type of things. But like you say, you have to understand what is it. Number one, you have to know what it is that you want. And I think a lot of times in relationships, we settle a lot when it comes to certain things, because some people are just so some people are where they have a couple different things. I think where some people, they're at that age where they're like, okay, I'm at a certain age, I just need to be married. And in life, everybody don't need to be married. Like, you can live a good life. I saw a post earlier where it had the girl from, remember that show, I can't remember her name, but it was with Flex. Remember the guy Flex and the daughter, and she's just like, she's been with her fiance for 21. He's there together for 20, but the daughter that he had on the show, she's been with her fiance for 21 years. And they got a 2-year-old child. The daughter that he had in the TV show.
What's called Pratt. So her
right,
name,
yes, her. And so she's been with, and they have a 2-year-old child again. But the thing is like, with people like that, what I saw in the comments, a lot of people was like, well, shucks, that's working out for them, but them not being married, because they like, you ain't seen no public scrutiny about them anywhere. You ain't seen no drama, none of that kind of stuff. And they still together after all these years, and you don't hear nothing about their relationship. But the minute that you start publicizing everything, that's when you start seeing a lot of different things. That's why they be like, sometimes I saw a post, and it's not funny because it's sad, but I saw a post where a girl posted, she said, stop posting your man because he's other people's man too. And that's like, you know, now it's like you sitting and you like, hold on, what now? And so people out
somebody's gonna get it.
so,
somebody's gonna catch these paws. And we're gonna start with him.
And so, right.
Oh, Pratt. That's
like people having that shade going on. It's just like, but then you have, right, and it's like sometimes I be seeing some people, like I see some people, and I'm like, please don't post another relationship, because it's like now every time you turn around, like every time you get with a person, you posting their pictures, posting this, posting that, posting this, and then y'all break up, and it's like you and I seen somebody put a post like, okay, well, we need to know what happened, because now you done went through, first you was all in love, you got all these pictures, then you throwing all these Bible verses and stuff up, and then a couple weeks later, now here's a whole nother picture of somebody else. So it's like, come on now, like we don't need a timeline of different men. Like just leave them off your
Just let it be. Just let it be.
It's like, let's let it go. Let's keep something private for a little while.
Right. And the other day, because me and my husband,
what he say?
Her name is, yeah, Alex just said her name was Kyla Pratt. Kyla Pratt, that's her name. She's beautiful. And I saw her, right?
Oh,
so
yeah,
like
I see it in the comments.
Over 20 some years, right?
Okay.
But what she said was, and I thought that was very powerful, because she said that as we've been together 21 years, we didn't base our relationship just on the piece of paper, if that's how they felt. But as long as we have good communication, we respect one another, and we love one another, then we good. And if that's what it takes for you and your children and your man, that's fabulous. Because I always say that everybody wasn't built for marriage, and everybody don't want to be married. But some people want to marry you just because they want to live on you. Okay. So you got to know the difference. And if it's synced or what it is. But for me, I wanted to be married. I wanted, and when I want to be in love before I die. I was married at 19, 45, and 55. And God came through on the third one. So here we go. Because see, you consulting me now. You ain't consult me on this other stuff. But for whatever reason, some people, guess what? I just heard this brother say last night, or should I say wee hours of this morning. He's 57 years old, and he's a money man. Matter of fact, he's good friends. He went to high school with Coach Prime. And it's Richard Fain, that's the name. He's a financial guy. And he say how he used to work money in the bank. He was a banker. And he said every day when the difference I'm talking about is between difference of being alone and being lonely. So he said when he was working, he always had friends around him. They would hang out. They would do different things with each other. He said, but there's two different types of friends. You got friends that will impart something into your life, and then you got friends that's going to take stuff from your life. So either they're going to be imparting into you or they're going to be withdrawing things from you. So you got to determine what kind of friends you want, right? So he said once he decided to retire, then work friends was now gone. So he wouldn't be around them people that regularly. But he said ever since he was a child, he wondered what would it be like if you just spent time with yourself. That's why I always tell people it ain't by yourself. Don't say I do this by myself. With yourself, because you count. You're somebody. So he said when he retired, he started exercising that. Girl, this man got $1 million house down there in Florida off the golf course and whatnot. He said, but I don't have a bunch of people around me. I don't need a bunch of folks around me. He said, guys, and guess what? I may be alone, but I'm not lonely. And then he read the definition of alone when it's a conscious decision to be with yourself or be by yourself and to do those things that you love and that you hold dear. And when I was hearing that, I was like, that's so true. It made me start thinking about it because real friends, I can count mine on two hands. And most times you don't see them face to face. It's Zoom, it's on the phone, it's FaceTime. But those are the ones that are real because God had to purge all of the lame ducks and the chickens. So he had to get me away from around chickens because I'm eagle. Right. See, eagles run with chickens because chickens just trying to take. They want everything you got. And as soon as you stop giving it, then you're the bad guy. Or either you just invisible. They don't even see you or know you no more because you ain't got nothing else to give. But he broke that down so eloquently. I said, wow, that's good. So it's a difference. Some people enjoy being alone and they don't consider themselves lonely. Then you got some people that's lonely and they'll do anything and grab onto anything and then be in a needy place. I've done that before. But I'm not in that broken place anymore. But I just wanted to share that with our audience. That there's
I love that though. And I love what you said. I love that. And I love what you said because that is so true. And I feel like with me, because of what I went through, and it was like, and then I think because with me, not only did I go through it with a relationship, but I also went through that type of stuff, even with friendship. And so it made me the type of person where now I'm comfortable with being to myself. I don't have to have people around me all the time. I'm comfortable with my own company. I can go out to eat by myself. I can go places with myself. I'm comfortable with being in my house by myself. Like I don't need all of the extra to make me feel whole. And I think a lot of times when people don't have that mindset to think like, and they get so stuck on what they think off of what they see on social media. And they feel like everybody has to be a certain way. Everybody has to have kids. Everybody has to be married. Everybody has to have, you don't have to have those things. What you have to have is a peace of mind. What you have to have is being able to lay your head down and not be stressed the heck out. You know, what you have to have is be that happiness and have that loving and feel secure within yourself. You don't have to have just somebody around just to say that you have somebody. And I had to learn, even with having a young child, coming to a whole nother state where I didn't have a whole lot of family that was close by. So I come somewhere where I'm like struggling and trying to make things work. But at the end of the day, it made me stronger. That's why I tell everybody, no matter what you go through in life, it's either going to teach you a lesson or make you stronger. And everything that I've been through, I feel like it did both. And so I don't regret things that happened. I'm upset that some things may have happened. However, it made me learn a lesson to know, like I had a friendship with someone, and I actually was just talking about this today with somebody. And I said, when I had that friendship, I said, and it ended with the person that I considered like a sister. I thought this was somebody I was like my friend, and we were so close. And I defended this person. I did so much with this person, but I thought about it, and I said, you know what? How we got together, when we met each other and how we connected to each other, it was on false pretenses, because the person was asking me for stuff and I was giving them all this information, However, I did all of this, and the person told me I was warned, but I didn't pay attention to it, and I was warned, and I was like, oh. And so I was giving up, and I'm the type of person, when you ask me something, like, I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not a person who will withhold things. If people want information from me, I've always been the type of person that will give it. If you're trying to start a business, I'm here. I'm going to give you that information. If you want to know certain things about, look up some stuff, and I got the information, I don't have a problem sending it to you. I'm not that type of person that every time I answer somebody or give somebody something, I feel like I got to hide it because of what I'm doing, or I got to be secretive about it, or I got to shut people out. I'm not that way. So when a person asked me, now they was asking me for stuff in the business that I do. Now I done help the person start a whole business like me. Like I don't have no hate or jealousy towards me at all. I have actually had a person come to my house, and I literally set them up, teaching them everything that I knew, and they opened up an office, and we still friends to this day. This one person. Now there's other person. I went doing all this information, and basically the person never wanted the information. That was just their way of getting in closer to me. But I'm thinking that this person was a friend, and I was sitting there giving them all this information, doing different stuff. They never really wanted it, but because I was in this other business, what I was talking about, that, with the travel and different things, they was trying to get me close, and that's how they connected to me, because they knew that's what I did. And so then it turned out that the true colors started coming out, and I was just like, wow, like here it is. I'm thinking it's my dog, like going in. But I start realizing sometimes people, when you see that, and like I said, I was warned, but I didn't take those warning signs, you know what I mean? So therefore I blame myself in that situation, because I said I should have saw those different warning signs. I should have watched those different behaviors. I should have watched those facial expressions. I should have watched the circles. I should have watched all those different things, because sometimes when you saying certain things, or how a person look at you when you walk in, if you looking at a person, they looking at you up and down, and they can't, just say you look nice, that's a sign. If you got a person who got to be sarcastic when you dressed up, that's a sign. When you see a person that got to say something sarcastic about what you're doing, that's a sign. So all these little things, I start replaying. I'm like, damn, I had all these signs, and I still let this thing in. But I said it didn't do anything but make me stronger, because when that heifer did what she did, I pushed off away from that person so fast, and I started growing in another daggone way. So I appreciate what you did, because you not only made me see you for who you were, but you also made me do better in what I needed to do. So thank you. So sometimes we have to say thank you to those people, because they think that they crush you. No, say thank you to them people, because you became I made myself focus on different things that I needed to focus on. I don't need the drama. Just like with the guy, I remember that man walked around telling people I was damn homeless. Homeless with a child, right? And the child is your child, and you never wanted to tell people that it was your child. So you tell somebody like, we charity cases, and you giving us somewhere to live, not with a house that's in my name. You're not. How we doing this? You see what I'm saying? So that's why I'm just like, sometimes. So that's why I'm like, sometimes people will come up with all kinds of stuff to get some attention, but they don't realize the stories that they have just don't make no daggone sense. Like, be for real. You finding a place for everybody child to stay, because what now? You talk about the one that's yours? I'm confused.
Oh my God. You know what's bouncing in my head? Girl, you being the hammer to the nail. You're the hammer to the nail. And what King Day say, a season, reason, or a lifetime. Sometimes they are not forever, folks. Season, reason, or a lifetime.
Right.
And here's what this Holy Spirit saying in my mind right now. Sometimes we got to thank God for the chickens. Because if it was not for those chickens in our lives, we would have never got away from them. And then that allowed us to excel and to just soar and to get away from them, to change the trajectory of our lives. And that's real, because I had to leave a chicken. I had to leave a clown in order to get a king. If I would have still been in that pit with this man, I would not have been accelerated. I wouldn't have got back in my good grace with God. I would not have stopped it. I wouldn't have been here in a house built from scratch. None of that would have happened when I had a man that covered me and kept me when I've been sick. Then I had another one give me half-cooked oatmeal. What the fuck? Girl. But God, you got to thank God for the trauma and then the elevation. Because without the fire that we have gone through, we would not come out, girl, purged as pure gold. The Bible speaks of that. You will be down in the fire. And when all of that impurity burns off of you, I'll lift you up out of there as pure gold. Exactly. And we just tell them chickens, thank you. Thank you.
That's what I said.
Reveal themselves. They'll reveal themselves.
Exactly. And then watch out for them ones that can't really talk, because they have those people who they would, when they around you is one way, but then when they get around somebody else, because of what they saying about you around the other people, they can't be around all of y'all at the same time. So they can't communicate with you like that when they're around certain people, because of the fact that they scared of what might come out. So you gotta be careful for those type of people too. And I see that, and I see that if you're watching. I see that because then you start saying like, right? It's like, okay, you can't answer me. You can't answer me now because you're around certain people, but that's because you probably telling these people you don't talk to me, or I did something to you, or whatever the case is, but you know those is lies. So you got to send me a little quick text or something, you know what I mean? Because you're nervous when it comes to those conversations. So you got to watch out for those.
Well, a couple things you've done probably in my mind. My sister friend always, I told you the analogy because she lived over there in the couch in the Carolina. Well, I'm saying Carolina in Virginia, North Carolina, where one of her houses is, in the backyard, the grass would grow so tall. And I call it the ranch of this big, beautiful house. So she said they had to keep the grass mold so far out from the house, because when her little girl is out there playing, you got to be able to see the snakes. So they had to keep the grass mold. And in that moment, analogy that God gave me in my mind was always keep your discernment up high and watch them, because you got to keep the grass mold so that you can see the snakes slithering up, because they'll be right in your circle. And you got to have your discernment so that you can see them. And when you made that comment about when I tell you, I can come in the room and I can tell who with me and who against me, whether they know me or not. Just from the look on your face. And even when I used to come to work, like I would wear sporty stuff. I'm going to wear some cute stuff. I'm going to wear some jeans. It just depends on what the day of the week. But on Wednesdays, I'm coming in there dressed as a professional, because that's the senior leadership meeting, right? And I'm the training manager. So I'm coming to that meeting, the only cocoa bean at the table, okay, coming in here with all this melanin. I'm coming up to this table and sit down, and I'm going to look like I belong at this table, because I do. But as soon as I would step foot on the job, honey, here they coming past me. Where you going? Where you think you going? I said, well, when I woke up this morning, I was heading here. But right now, I'm heading to the meeting. I'll be back. Keep on going.
Just you know how to switch it up, and that's what it's all about. You can switch it up.
They don't hate the plan. They don't even hate the game. I can show you how to get it together. Don't be mad at all this melanin and this cute hair, girl. They ain't know what kind of hair I was coming in if I was gonna have both. But I'm coming, okay? But that's the slick talking. That's that part. Look at her. Yeah, where you think you going? I said, well, when I woke up, I knew I was heading here. But and right now, I'm ready to
you have the right to look good, and you have the right to put it on when you want to put it on. Like you ain't like me. When they see me, you see me. I just on a regular day, I'm not one to be dressed up all like that. A lot of times you'll see me with the hat on. I got a t-shirt on and some short, or some jeans. Like I'm not doing that on no everyday basis. But when I do want to get dressed, I'm gonna get dressed.
I'm gonna get dressed on those occasions when I won't get dressed, because I ain't got to have
my intention is what I'm putting on and how I'm looking ain't got nothing to do with you. It's because I want to look nice for myself. I want to go look in the mirror and be like, oh, you look nice. So
that's why I'm so glad of our connection, because we lift one another up. We share information.
And that's what you need. People who can uplift you in the right direction. And that's why I'm so happy that we did connect, because we are lifting each other up as women. And a lot of women don't have that in their circle. It's so much hate, it's so much drama, it's so much people wanting to tear them down. And I pray that y'all find somebody like how we found each other. We found each other in the Lions Behavior with Nikki, the group. LB, we connected from doing that group, and we have just excelled off of just that one conversation of us having to pair up. And once we paired up, you know, for us to be each other's partners, and we like, okay, and we done stepped up the game. And I even got to, talking about that, just to throw it out there, I got to go in that group because through the little challenge, I didn't ever post the final, but, you know, I finished my funnel, what I was supposed to be doing in that challenge. And I'm like, this event is about to come on. So as y'all see at the bottom of the screen, that business Oscar, that is something that I did in that Lions Behavior. So if y'all are watching and y'all get with Nikki in that group, because that will help you push on. Because like I said, me and Denise Danae connected from that group. And what I love about it is also with those Thursdays, with their connections, like it's not all about business. It's just about just like being able to put your feelings on the table and express what you're doing for the week, letting you know your wins, your losses, what you need help with. It's a real community. And that's what I really loved about that group and that community, because it's about connection, and it keeps you connected with people who ain't no shade or hate or anything. It's just people connecting and trying to help each other get it through. And that's why I really love that group.
I love it too. And let me give this shout out, because not only with our accountability, and that's what I love that about the group, about, like I said, with my services, that's what it is. If you need somebody sometime to hold your feet to the fire, just hold your hand and walk you through it. Right. But with LB, I know me and you within the LB, we made the immediate connection with our accountability. We was going through the 30-day challenge. We coming up again in October. But when even when going through my lung cancer surgery, and I had to tell the group that day, because that's Thrive Thursdays, our 30-45 minute time for everybody to come in, just how you feeling, what you working on, what you doing. And I love that about Nikki Saunders, because she cares. And that day when she told me, you know, and I was crying and I was just feeling emotional, and she said, sis, we got you, don't worry about it, we're gonna walk through this with you, anything you need. I was in the hospital and tapped in on Thursday after my surgery, and I blew her away. She said, you still checking in? But she was, and you guys on me always. And if somebody missing, where's so-and-so at? What you doing? But I love that community, the love, and no insecurity, no hate. Get around people that will lift you and that will not try to lower you and dance on your neck. Yeah. I love you for that. And we were ever connected.
And then I love the fact that she's real, because you have a lot of times that people, No, you were saying, and I love the fact that she's real. Like, she's not one of those fake people. Yes, I love that she's real, because you have a lot of times these different people who are like in these different, they have these communities and you pay or whatever to get into these other communities, but they don't really check for you. They just put their stuff in and they're not really caring about you at all. And I like the fact that she actually shows like that, you know, letting you know and different things like that, because you have a lot of them where you probably walk up to them, they probably wouldn't, they be like, who the heck are you? You know, like, what's up?
You know, you from Adam, but,
yeah. But it is 10 o'clock, y'all. And
no, I love it. I was just saying, a lot of the communities, they don't even want you to post. But Nikki want us to grow and complete things and get it done. I love it. I love it. But no, you was finna do the wrap up.
Hold on, for some reason you breaking up on me.
Oh no. Can you hear me now? I was saying,
okay.
No,
it started breaking up for some reason. It started flat. Yes, we have gave y'all a lot. At the end of the day, we see that money, fame, love, and can all be tangled in some ugly ways. But the bigger lesson is, whether you're famous or not, protecting your peace and respecting your boundaries is everything. And I'm gonna say that one more time. Protecting your peace and respecting your boundaries is everything. So I want to say thank y'all for rocking with us tonight on the Talk It Out with D&D. And don't forget to hit that like button, share this with a friend who loves to hear a little bit of tea, some real talk, and of course, subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. So until next time, keep it real, keep it respectful, and let's keep talking it out. Good night, y'all.
Good night. Mwah.